2% of people think. 3% of people think they think, and 95% of people would rather die than think. This is a quote by Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor is a world-renowned author, speaker, and thought leader. This is a quote by Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor is a world-renowned author, speaker, and thought leader. One of Bob's bestseller books is You Were Born Rich, and this book has sold millions of copies around the world today. Now, why am I talking about Bob Proctor? Because our guest today is a student and passionate practitioner of the principles expounded by this very same world-renowned speaker and author. This gentleman who is here with me today has taken the ever so powerful principles of Bob Proctor and is now helping others to utilize those very same tools to enhance every area of their lives. Great day to all of you. Today is the 31st of May, 2020. My name is Arjun Aiyar, and I will be your host today. I am a life coach, a speaker, and a writer. But today is not about me. It is about the person who is here with me. He is going to expand your mind, touch your heart, and ignite your spirit. Today, he will demystify for us the profound success principles as ascribed by Bob Proctor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our esteemed guest, Sylvester Rodricks, also known as Sly. Welcome, Sly. Please say hello to all our viewers.
Hello, Arjun, and to everybody else. Thank you very much for having me here.
Wonderful. Welcome, Sly. Sly, before we get right into these prolific principles of Bob Proctor, I'm going to take a minute to introduce you to all who are here with us today. Is that okay?
Definitely.
Awesome. Now, Sylvester, Sly, is originally from the country of India and has lived in Dubai since the mid-1980s. He then moved to Toronto, Canada in the 1990s and returned back to Dubai in 2003 to work for Etihad Airways. Sylvester has always had a passion for travel right from a young age. His desire to see the world came about when he was but a child. According to him, his first airport experience was quite literally love at first sight. Sylvester's interest in the culinary arts, together with his passion for travel, led him to work for the airline industry, where he was enhancing guest on board quality and in-flight catering experience for leading global airlines like Emirates, Air Canada, and Etihad Airways. Sylvester has always had a passion for training and leadership, and particularly the mechanics of the mind. In 1996, Sly was introduced to the Silva International Mind Control Program, and this began his journey of mind expansion and higher awareness. Sly is currently a student with PGI, or the Proctor Gallagher Institute. He is a practitioner and exponent of the principles of Bob Proctor, tenets that have created thousands of success stories around the world. And he is going to share many of those principles with us today. Sylvester will help us to practically understand the conscious and the subconscious mind. And he will challenge us to stretch and discover the hidden powers that reside within each of us. Ladies and gentlemen, he is absolutely able to add tremendous value to each of our lives. And this has caused me to invite him to talk to all of you here today. Without any further ado, I present our guest, Sylvester Rodricks. Welcome, Sly.
Thank you very much, Arjun, for those kind words. Really appreciate it.
It's super to have you here with us, Sly. And I've known you for a while now, and your inspiration and enthusiasm has inspired me to have this dialogue with you so that we can add value to a wider community. Sylvester, let's get started at the very beginning. And I noticed from your introduction where you spoke about, or you told me initially about your first airport experience. Tell us about that first experience at the airport. What happened and how did that experience shape your decisions thereafter?
Well, growing up as a kid, a trip to the airport is or was always a very exciting trip. It was an adventure. Uh, no sooner I reached the airport, even before I could reach the airport, I could hear the sound of the aircraft engines, even before I saw the planes. As soon as I got there, I would dash off to the viewing gallery to see all the planes lined up so meticulously in preparation for takeoff. As they took off, my mouth was open. I was in awe as the bird thundered into the sky and disappeared. I couldn't imagine for the life of me that something like this, a big bird could lift itself off the ground and disappear into the clouds, just like that. That was magic for me. On the flip side, or the land side, there was another visual magic happening. The aircrew who were either arriving or leaving the airport, all of them in their colorful uniforms, looking freshly scrubbed as though they've stepped off a fashion magazine. The smell of perfume as they brushed past the crowds with their beautiful luggage. Oh my goodness, it was all so surreal for me. Right there and then, I decided, Sylvester, whatever happens to you in life, travel must be a big part of it, because this is what I imagine myself doing for the rest of my life. So in a nutshell, yes.
I was living that experience with you as you described it, Sly, and thank you so much for sharing. Now, you're obviously an inspired guy. You're constantly learning, growing, and becoming better as an individual. This is who you are. And from that space, you continue to attract people and opportunities into your life. Sylvester, what advice do you have for people who say that they are stuck in a profession or in life?
I would say, do not say, I am stuck, even if you are. Instead, use words like, I've plateaued, or I'm surfing, or I'm coasting. Not very positive words, but at least it signifies a temporary phase. Also, my suggestion in this scenario would be to make a playlist of a lot of positive and upbeat songs that you have, so you can hit the button as soon as these thoughts come to your mind. I have a playlist of people, of books, and of music. So between the three, I will hit the button whenever I am low. So that is my suggestion. Saying that I am stuck sounds very final, very definite, and so sure. It's like there is no way out. And we pick up these words from the environment, and the words become part of our daily vocabulary. The environment is the people we work with, our parents, our friends, our social settings. All of this make up the environment. And then this forms part of the vocabulary. Now, words are energy, and energy takes form. And when that energy takes form, it manifests itself in the physical through the laws of the universe. So we must use our words carefully, responsibly, and to our advantage, because everything around us is energy in one form or the other. Ice melts into water. Water, when heated, becomes steam. Steam, when evaporated, becomes ether or condensation and comes down as rainfall, as we know it. So energy is form changing or taking different forms and changing all the time. So our words are like that. And therefore, it has to be used very, very carefully. So I would say the learnings from this question would be watch what you say, hit your playlist, create a goal, and then begin to do the work. Simple.
Yeah, it's so powerful. And what you said is so true, because language or our language patterns indicate to us how we're thinking. And when we start changing our language patterns deliberately, we start affecting our thinking, and now that affects the universe or the manifestations that flow out of there. Very, very powerful slide. This is amazing. I think early up in this interview itself, we as the viewers are able to take some value away from this. This is really amazing. Now, in your introduction, we spoke about Bob Proctor. I'd like you to talk about who Bob Proctor is. What are his teachings, and what kind of effect have those teachings had on your life? What are some of his key principles? And why did you, Sylvester Rodricks, choose to become a student of the Proctor Gallagher Institute particularly?
So, well, there are two Bob Proctors I know. Let me start with the first one. As you so eloquently introduced Bob, he is indeed a world-renowned author, speaker, and founder of the Proctor Gallagher Institute, along with his business partner, Sandy Gallagher, who is now the president and the co-founder. Bob has featured in the movie The Secret, and he is best known for his books, You Were Born Rich and The Art of Living. Now, Bob's journey began in 1961 with Earl Nightingale and Lloyd Conan of the Nightingale-Conan Corporation. They were the world-renowned exponents of mind thinking and mapping and reading back in the day. And Bob worked with them for 5 years and until he left and went out on his own. Now, this is the business Bob. The other Bob I know, and here, this is why I honor and respect the man, because he will be 86 in a month or two, but he has the energy, the drive, and the swag of a 25-year-old. He's a sharp dresser, looks less than half his age, and in typical kind of Bob subtlety, humor, and cryptic messaging, he likes to keep going and doesn't hang around old people. To me, which translates as he has no intention of quitting or throwing in the towel anytime soon. And age is just a number. You are never too old to feel young. Gosh, I want to be like him if ever I live till 86. So that is the other Bob. Now, coming back to the other question, why Bob or why PGI? See, I decided that I was going to learn more. If I was going to learn more, I was going to go with the best. In my opinion, Bob is one of the best in the world at what he does. No one comes closer. He has devoted his entire life and still continues to do so to teach us to change the way we think. Now it's very profound, it's very big. Another reason was Bob and Sandy's teachings. They fly in the face of logical thinking, and that is what attracted me the most to PGI. As a student of TIR, thinking into results, I have learned to think and do the illogical. So I think what we are about to discuss is going to be quite an interesting chat between us and also to our viewers. And I would like to digress here, Arjun, and say thank you very much for giving me this space to share my insights with you. It is not a topic that is easily discussed with everybody. And to me, you are like the Larry King of Dubai because of your in-your-face style, and, dig deeper style. And I would have wanted no other way. I would have it no other way. And so I have to double thank you for that too. So thank you again.
Wow.
Now coming back to Bob, the book You Were Born Rich is based on 20 years of research on the science of the mind. And then Bob proceeded to turn it into a learning system, which serves as the foundation for thinking into results and other corporate programs. This has helped millions of people, including myself, to see through our inner barriers to achieve a quantum leap. So those are the main principles of Bob's tenets of thinking into results.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's really, really powerful. And I really, I'm glad that, you kind of brought up the book title, You Were Born Rich, which is a very, very powerful book for anybody to read. And you've alluded to TIR a few times in the last 3 or 4 minutes. And I'm very curious for us to get into TIR, which is thinking into results. For a first time, somebody who's a beginner and has never really been exposed to this world of inspiration, what is this program, Thinking into Results, or TIR, all about, and how does one get started with it, Sly?
Okay, to demystify a bit here, let me tell you what TIR is not. It's not what you're thinking. And by that, I mean, it's not the standard NLP or personal development program that requires positive thinking, and that is out there a lot. TIR is the bang opposite. It's the most up-to-date and cutting-edge learning system to develop and enhance yourself as an individual, a corporate, or together as a family to get the results you want. Let me focus or reiterate, to get the results you want, not the results your spouse or your children want, not the results your boss wants, but the results you want. So that is why thinking into results is very important.
That's really powerful. And you said cutting edge. When you say cutting edge, is it because it is customized, it's bespoke, it's individualized to the participant particularly? And what else makes this program cutting edge from your perspective?
So to me, cutting edge, I could summarize it in about 4 or 5 steps. It is about getting results in the here and now, one step at a time, with a very, very fixed focus on the goal. Second of all, the tools are relevant because they are based on research and practice for over 50 years with practical evidence. I mean, I can tell you and regale you with so many stories and examples from my life and Bob, and that's why it is relevant. The third and the fourth are the best of all. And it really, really, I mean, for me, I keep sniggering when I talk about the third and the fourth point. The third is illogical thinking. That is thinking beyond common sense or beyond what common sense would allow. Because in this thinking into results, all you need to know is that it is going to happen. You don't need to know the how. And for it to happen, you must really want it. That's all. So you do not need to know the how. All you need to know that it is going to happen and you must really want it. Now, isn't that simple enough? It's simple, but not easy. So it gets you to achieve your goals because there is the evidence-based fact sharing. And also, it's a strong state of belief and knowing that the dream will come true. The last point is making your move before you're ready. Now, this I enjoy a lot because I'm so planned, I'm so regimental in my life. And thinking into results tell you, don't overplan, Don't over process, don't over prepare before getting started. Work with the tools available at the time, and as you go along, it will show you the way, and whatever you need will come your way. So let me give you an example here to elaborate. You're on a dark road or on a road with very little lights, or maybe you're in a fog like the fog we're in now. You turn on your high beams, which can take you very safely for the next 100 to 200 yards. And you start moving. You go ahead, and as you go along, the road brightens up, it lightens up, and you can see further and further and further. So that's what thinking into results teaches you and is all about. That do not over prepare. You know, we want to know the roadmap from A to Z. I mean, that's the way we are programmed. And this flies in the face of that. And that's why I enjoy it so much.
And it's so powerful.
Like Martin Luther King once said, you don't need to see the whole stairway. Just take the first step.
Super. Excellent. Absolutely. And so much of Bob's work is now empirical. In that the results are empirical. There is so much data and evidence that the processes that have been put forward by him have been applied by not just a few, but thousands and tens of thousands of people have used those tools to accumulate fortunes, which makes it very powerful. And that makes you, Sylvester, a very rare resource here in the Middle East and here in Dubai, as somebody who is a practitioner, and pretty much like an expert of sorts in those principles. So that's really amazing. Let's talk a little bit about the mechanics of the mind. You know, in your introduction, we said something about that and your application of the mechanics of the mind. How does it help us to learn these mechanics of the mind? What is mechanics of the mind? How do we learn it? And how do we apply it in our lives today?
So, as I know from thinking into results, the mind is the greatest power in all creation. The brain is an electrical switching station. Our mind is like a thermostat that controls the temperature of our thoughts, which is energy. So to change the results, you need to change the setting of the thermostat.
Yeah.
Now, humor me for a bit, and let's play a little game here, Arjun.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, what is the color of your walls?
White.
White, okay. You have curtains in the living room?
Yes, I do.
I take it you're in your living room?
Yes.
You have curtains?
Yes.
Can you describe your curtains?
Colorful.
Color, pattern?
Yeah, multicolored, very non-linear, orange, yellow, blue, just green, all kinds of colors on it.
Wow. Your couch, is it a two-seater, three-seater?
My couch is I've got two couches, one three-seater and one one-seater.
Wow, and what color?
Dark blue.
Dark blue, very nice. I guess you have a dining table for 2 or 3 or 4?
Yes, I suppose 3 could get in there, yeah.
Perfect, fantastic. Now, what is the color of your fridge?
Gray.
Gray, is it a 2-door or 4-door?
2-door.
Does it open right to left or left to right?
So left to right, yes.
Left to right, okay, see? Now, I took you you took yourself from your living room to your kitchen, didn't you?
Yes.
To visualize what your fridge was. You're sitting in the living room, so obviously you're not sitting in the kitchen, but you did describe your fridge very correctly to me.
Yes.
So the mind is like that. We all think in pictures, yeah? And you were able to describe that because you had a picture of it. Now let's go a little further. So can you show me your arm? Can you show me your palm, your hand, or your palm, or your, okay. Can you show me your shoulder? Perfect. Your eyes, your nose. What about your heart? What about the brain? Is that your brain?
Yep, inside
Is that
there.
where your brain is?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. What about your mind?
Somewhere there, I think.
See, nobody has a picture of the mind.
Yes.
And yet the mind is the main power that controls everything. Because mind is movement and it is in every cell of our body. The body is just manifestation of that movement. We become what we think or who we think we are. Okay? So because no one has seen the mind, let me introduce you to the stick person here. This is a learning from thinking into results. So this guy is the stick person.
Wow.
Can you see him?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Now, the orange part is the mind, let us say,
Yeah.
and the lemon is the body.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, the mind is made up of two parts, which I'm going to turn around for you.
Wow.
One is the conscious mind, and the other one is the subconscious mind.
Yes.
Okay? So, this is the mind. Now, the conscious mind has little antennas for us, which connects us to the outside world or the external world. We use our sensory perception of see, taste, touch, hear, smell to connect ourselves with day-to-day activities and to the outside world. The subconscious has no connection. The outside, the conscious mind can either accept or reject any of the thoughts of the outside world. The subconscious mind can only accept. Okay, so if I took this baby off, this is how it would look. So this is the subconscious. It only accepts. It doesn't reject. It cannot reject. So the conscious one is the one that is doing all the dirty work or all the clean work.
Wow.
There we go. Because whatever we see, hear, taste, smell, we react with it through our conscious mind. We let it down to the subconscious, and then it manifests itself in the body through our actions.
Yes.
And that action we send out into the world, and that world gives us a reaction, because we know that for every action, there is a reaction. So this is how the mind works. So whatever we put out there, we get it back. Sometimes we get it back tenfold. So we have a positive and we have a negative. That thinking into results will teach you a lot more of that. And we can either use the positive to put all the positivity into the subconscious, or you can use the negative to let yourself into a negative state of being. So this is basically a little bit of, I hope the kids are watching this, because they would love this little art and craft I've done. So, so this is a little bit about the mind. Then of course you have, your self-image, your holding a thought, your magnifying your thoughts and everything else that also comes into play with the mind. Because a lot of the mind has to do with our self-image, our consciousness, our paradigms, and everything else. So sensory and higher faculties are like 6-lane highways. An average person has about 80,000 thoughts a day. And God forbid if we were to react to every one of those thoughts. So that is how I describe the mind.
Excellent. That's really fantastic. And, we hear so much about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. I guess what I'm getting from what you're saying here, Sly, is the way we impress upon the subconscious mind is through the conscious mind. And our conscious mind has the 5 senses which receive data, and then that data now is put into the subconscious mind. Am I getting that correctly?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
Absolutely.
therefore, I need to be very, very conscious about what I'm listening to, what I'm seeing, the company that I keep, the books that I read, the environment that I hang around, because all of that now forms an impression on the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is so neutral that it will take that information, even if it's garbage, and process it and make that a reality for me. Yeah?
Yes, very much.
So this wonderfully now will take us into the subject of dreams and goals. You know, there are thousands of stories of those who have achieved their dreams and goals, and yet there are millions who haven't yet achieved. With this concept in mind, with the mechanics in mind, and thinking into results, take us through some of the ideas that you would share for people who have dreams, who have goals, and what could they do or what should they not do to ensure that they achieve their goals?
Well, let me try and put this together the best I can. So to me, a goal is a dream with an idea, with a deadline. So goal equals dream plus deadline. No dream, no goal, no deadline, no goal. Now, what is a goal? We will come to that in a bit. But to answer the goals and dreams being fulfilled, I would say, to see them fulfilled right now, 3 things you need to do. Don't wait. Create a goal. The bigger, the better. If the goal is scarier, even better.
Wow.
Because a goal should scare the heebie-jeebies out of you. It should scare the living daylights out of you. And then begin to do the work, because we always suffer from what we call paralysis of analysis. So I will repeat, to see your dreams and your desires fulfilled right now, don't wait. Create a goal. The bigger, the scarier, the better, and begin to do the work. These are the 3 dynamics to fulfilling your dreams right now. Coming to a goal. What is a goal? A goal is something that you're going to go after that you've never done before. If you know how to reach a goal, I'm sorry, it is not a goal. Because it is not going to do for you what a goal is designed to do. A goal, and what is a goal designed to do? A goal is designed not to get something. A goal is designed for you to grow. So the bigger the goal, the scarier the goal, the better the growth. So that is the goal. Now, we all have set goals in the corporate world. And I have set so many SMART goals than I can think of. And one of the acronyms of the SMART goal is the A, which is achievable. Now, if you know how to achieve a goal, that is not a goal. That is just the carrot at the end of the stick to say that if you achieve this, you will get yada, 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 yada. You will get a bonus, you will get a pay rise, you will get a promotion, blah, blah, blah. But that is not a goal. Because a goal is designed to help you grow, not to get. If you get something along the way, fine, but that is not the main purpose. So set your mind on a definite goal. And when you do that, you will observe how quickly the world stands apart to let you aside. So over here, I would bring out my second playlist, you know, a song by John Lennon, Imagine.
Wow.
Yeah, just imagine. So of course I could get into the creative process of fantasy theory and all of that, but there might not be time for that. So this is now, what is a dream? Dreams are wishes and desires. Your dream house, the dream car, the vacation, the dream job, the life partner. and like we did the exercise earlier, we dream and think in pictures, right? You just proved to me that, you know, you could describe your fridge and everything else, right? That is your imagination. So the trick is to hold that dream, that wish or that desire so firmly as a thought, because the thought is energy. So dreams, desire, make it into a thought. That thought is energy, and now that becomes your obsessive goal.
Fantastic. So we start with a dream, we put a deadline to the dream, and then the dream becomes a goal. And what you're saying is that Bob Proctor has a very high standard with regard to goals. A goal should be something that is not achievable, but something that is audacious, that scares you when you think about it, or look at it, or hear it, or feel it. And what I really liked in what you said, Sylvester, is the goal is less about getting and more about growing, because we all have the capacity for growth. And, you know, stepping out of our comfort zone into our capacity growth is what the human evolution process is all about anyways. Now, let's say, okay, this is exciting. But what about people who are afraid to dream, particularly those who have had a history, who've had a past, people who've endured pain in their life? What would you say to them? I mean, people who want to say, you know, I've had challenges growing up. Maybe I've had an abusive environment that I've grown up in. What could I do to delete the past so that I can discover my potentials and apply what you're speaking about with regard to goals?
So there are two things here. One is, you cannot delete the past. It happened. We can only move forward from the past by honoring it and learning from it. We honor it and we learn from it. We all learn from past mistakes. We know that. Now, the second part is, the past has a lot of good and bad memories. Why would you want to delete it? Would I not want to hold on to the good memories when I have to go into the past and cling on to those memories to take me forward? Deleting the past is erasing everything. It's like, that's it, it's gone. No, I wouldn't want to do that. Now, to discover your potential, again, something very simple, but not easy. 3 words: change the paradigm. Paradigm, what is a paradigm? We all know it's a multitude of habits that shape our day-to-day life. They control and guide all our movement, the way we eat, the way we talk, the way we walk, communicate, our successes, our failures. So we have paradigms in everyday life. Your favorite color, your favorite couch, your favorite food, yeah? My favorite channel to watch TV. I will subscribe to a package, but I will watch only 2 channels, right? That's a paradigm.
Yeah.
But paradigms are important because they define how we perceive reality. But on the other hand, they also box you in. Why? Because as humans, we don't change much on a day-to-day basis. But when you change your paradigms, you're changing how you think about something. In the business world, a paradigm shift is often to change a perception of how a thing should be done, a thing should be made or thought about, or a process or whatever else. Yeah? Changing paradigms is also about self-image. Am I good enough? Am I less qualified? Am I smarter than my neighbor? You know, give you an example. Now, if I told you a few years back that you could actually have a hotel room on the plane with a shower, with a flatbed, with your own butler, you would say, my God, what is Sylvester smoking, right? But that's a reality now. The Wright brothers, when they decided to invent flying, their father seriously thought that they were taking their life into their hands in a different sort of way. They might have been there up in the air for only 14 seconds, but they were there. And who were the Wright brothers? They were not some avionics engineering graduate from a big college. They were bicycle mechanics. Look where we are today. If it wasn't for them, and wasn't for them to change their paradigm and to think the way they thought, we would never be flying, leave alone the showers. Edmund Hillary, Bob worked with him and interacted with him.
He was the first man to climb Mount Everest, right?
Yes, but he had to go there 2 or 3 times before he did it.
Wow.
And who was he? Do you know? He was a beekeeper.
Oh, really?
Yes, he was a beekeeper who went to Everest 2 or 3 times, failed, and came back and finally conquered it. Yeah. And Bob talks about him a lot because Bob's worked with him. So this is what it is. It is changing the way we think, you know, especially in this world, in the now.
Does TIR help participants to progressively do this, Sly? And is this at the core of the work that you do with students and participants who immerse themselves in the Thinking into Results training program?
Yes, I do this and more, a lot more. I mean, because for me, it is about an investment in a learning system, because I will be failing a lot of great people if I do not invest in teaching somebody the right way. Everything else is secondary.
Yeah. So the right way is discovering those disempowering paradigms that one is afflicted by, and then changing those to more resourceful or empowering paradigms. Would that be a fair?
Absolutely. It's sorry, go ahead.
Would that be a fair comment in the transition?
Yes, it is. It is about changing paradigms. So everything is linked. Everything is built upon the other. Yeah. So it is changing paradigms, setting goals, assessing your beliefs, finding out who you are. A lot of things. That's why there are 12 modules for this. But it encompasses a lot of things which self-realization. And it's very strange because when I went through it, I didn't think that a program like this would be about all of this and the science of the mind and the physics of something else, you know. So to me, it was like a potpourri of different, and I said, wow, you know, very rarely will you find a one-stop shop to address everything.
Super. And this one-stop shop now, you know, is like a skill set and a mindset which one is developing within themselves to prepare them for the future, right? So what, I mean, in your perspective, and now, you know, coming towards the close of what we're talking about, we're living in a changing world and very dynamic kind of milieu. What kind of skill sets and mindsets do you think are required for individuals to succeed and really get ahead in life?
Well, planet Earth has been pressed with the reset button, as we know. We are all feeling it. We talk about the new normal, from what, the old normal? Now, the old normal is not coming back. I mean, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but the new normal is here to stay.
Yeah.
And we will change our paradigms again to get used to it. Just yesterday, I was working out in the gym with the I will not be able to work out, you know, just to give you an example. So in times like this, what's your first line of support? Who is in charge of you, or who is in charge of me? Is it myself, or is it something outside of me? Is the outside going to control me, or am I in control of me?
Mm.
I have to ask these questions to myself.
Mm.
Are we self-poised, or does our balance depend on something external? If it does, if our balance is depending on an external factor, then we are like a cork bouncing in the ocean. We are not controlled by what's going on the outside because we are superior beings, but we will get control only if we let it happen. So the skills and mindsets which I would like to recommend. And I'm not saying, I mean, you say, oh, Sylvester, this is mumbo jumbo and this is, you're not being realistic and all of that. It says, I'm not saying we ignore it. It's there, you can't deny it. But it's up to us to make a decision that you are not going to permit it to control you.
Mm.
I absolutely, Arjun, refuse to spend all my time listening to the news, reading the newspaper, and to the countless of senseless WhatsApp messages that come my way. If it's something that I'm reading or listening over and over again, it's bound to control me.
Yes.
Right? So in times like this, we need to stop and think. Unfortunately, a lot of us are not thinking. Start reading a worthwhile book. Download You Were Born Rich for free by Bob Proctor. It's a free download.
Oh.
If you need, contact me, I will give it to you. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Learn a different skill. Try writing with your left hand every morning, just one word and then a sentence. I mean, the brain power it takes to write with your left hand is surreal. I am practicing it currently.
Wow.
Make up your mind that you are going to change, because Bob practices the writing with the left hand every day. Every day, every morning he does that, and he encourages everyone to do it, like all of us who are learning along with him. And that's why I started it. If it's a money problem or a job problem, understand that you can solve that job or money problem. It's no different from any other problem. What are problems? They are opportunities to help us to stretch. And that's what thinking into results is all about. If you take control of yourself, you take control of your life, and that's when everything starts to change. Great men or women didn't come into their greatness doing everything right. The greatness came to them at the worst of times. Take Nelson Mandela, for example. From a prisoner to the president.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will tell you this. So if you want a skill, sit down right now, write down the way you're living. On another sheet of paper, write down how you want to live.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. On a third sheet of paper, write down how you will live like this. So the second sheet of paper is your benchmark for how you will currently live like the second sheet of paper. The third sheet of paper, when you write down how you live like this, becomes your goals. It's simple. But that's what thinking into results is teaching you. It is completely off the wall, Arjun. I tell you, I relish it. I relish it.
I can feel that. Oh my God. And this is why I had you on here today, Sly. The magic that you've shared with us since we started, and particularly in the last 5-7 minutes, I would ask the viewers to rewind and play that part back again and again and apply some of these tools that Sylvester is sharing with you. It has the capacity to transform, not just change, transform your life. Really, really powerful, Sly. Would you like to give us anything about the course, TIR? How long is it, the duration, and how does it work? Thinking into results.
So the framework is a participant's guide of 12 modules with worksheets. Now, that includes one-on-one tuition, practicals, accountability, everything.
Yeah.
So in 1 month, you can do 2 modules, and that would take us over a period of 6 months. Now that is the framework.
So either one-on-one, or is it in a group? How does that work, Sylvester?
I prefer to do one-on-one. We can, because everybody thinks differently, everybody's pace is different. Right. So that is why the beauty of TIR, or thinking into results, is there is flexibility within the framework, because it understands that everybody's mind is not the same. We don't think the same. Our pace is not the same. Our knowledge sharing and gathering is not the same, sorry. So it is very flexible to adjust. So that is why if somebody is interested, they can give us a call, send an email, and then we have to sit down, have a chat one-on-one, and then customize or tailor make it to the suitability. So that's why it's a very flexible kind of a module course.
And who would be the ideal candidate for a program like this? I mean, what kind of people would typically want to go through and grow through a TIR program?
Like I mentioned earlier, it is to develop and enhance you as an individual, corporate, or as a family unit. It's very good for children as well. But I would encourage the family to do it, because the parents set an example for their children, right? So if the parents are not practicing it, then the child is going to emulate the parents' behavior. Yeah. So if you do it as a family unit, that's perfect. That's great, because everybody gets the knowledge simultaneously.
Super, excellent. And of course, professionals can use this to grow their careers. Individuals can use it to enhance the quality of their personal lives. Folks who are going through challenges can use it to come out of those challenges and going from merely surviving to thriving, and so on and so forth.
Yes, absolutely. Because like thinking into results, unfortunately, is not something which you can delegate or outsource. Yeah. You have to do the work. Yes. You know, that's the sad part, but you have to do the work. But, you know, that's what enables you to grow.
Excellent. Really fantastic. Sylvester, we've covered so much ground. You've really infused us with information, inspiration, knowledge, tools, ideas, principles, concepts that have added so much value. So really amazing being with you here today. Any parting words to all of us before we conclude?
Certainly. I mean, living in Dubai for the longest time, I definitely believe that greatness comes from fantasy, turning theory into an image, and that image into a fact. We are living in one such country where the leaders turned a fishing port into a dynamic city and a country, the city called Dubai, the country is the UAE. That's greatness, where everything is bigger, higher, and larger than life. If any city can do it, no prizes for guessing which city or which one it is, right? And we are living in that city. The city was visioned, or the visionaries had that imagination and that creativity to create something out of nothing. And this is the living example of Dubai and of the UAE at large. So my parting words would be, if you can think it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Wow. If you can think it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. That's how everything starts. Our results at the end are an end result of the way, what, and how we think. It's the thought process. Excellent. I mean, whichever way you cut it, whichever university you go to, Harvard and whatever else, it is at the end of the day, the thought process. Excellent. So Arjun, thank you so much for once again, having this chat with you. And I hope it has been of benefit and of value.
Such a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time, Sylvester.